So you said, obviously you guys are a strong offensive team. They're the strongest defensive team you guys have played. What is it that their defense does in particular that makes them so strong, I guess, in that category?
Well, they got size. They basically start two guards, two forwards, and a center. And we got the talent that they have. They're long, they're athletic, they've got a good physical presence to them. You got Nick and who can really do a lot of good things defensively, and then because of their athleticism and their length, it makes it hard to get into the things that you want to run. So we've got to do a good job of executing our offense, and that backboard's going to be a big key because they're top 5 defensively, but they're top 5 in the backboard as well, and that's one of the reasons why they're so good defensively as a team.
What kind of atmosphere are you expecting on Thursday? And as far as games like this, ESPN nationally ranked against the number 1 team, what does it mean for you and the recruits and your recruiting process going on even after the season with games like this?
Well, it's always positive. I think anytime that you can get a lot of energy in the building and you get a lot of people in here, which is what we're anticipating when you've got a game like this early in the conference season, those are all positives. And obviously, just like our opener with USC, you got a lot of get as many recruits in the building as you can, because those are all positive things that help you now currently, and then moving forward in the future, those are all going to be good things.
Aaron Gordon hasn't necessarily been, lighting up the scoreboard, but he's done a lot of other things.
Well, he's been awfully good.
Yeah.
A freshman that gets 12 and 8, and you're starting on the number 1 team in the country, and you're almost at a double-double. Those are pretty impressive numbers. So I've known Aaron a long time because I coached Drew at New Mexico, so I know the family. He's a terrific young man. Got a lot of respect for him, not just as a player, but as a person. And that family's been awfully good to us. We've enjoyed getting to know them over the years, and really enjoyed coaching Drew. And now got to go against Aaron, so that's not an easy task, because I know firsthand just how talented he is, and he's a very talented individual.
How's he different from Drew?
It probably goes out on the floor a little bit more than Drew. Drew was a little bit more inside, and probably had more of a post presence, where Aaron can get out on the floor and do maybe a little bit more with ball skills and those type of things. Drew would tell you that he's the better foul shooter. That's where Drew likes to get an edge up on Aaron. But
who would you say is the better foul shooter?
Foul shooter by percentage, Drew, and Drew's right. Drew, I don't know, can't remember his percentage, but I just know from being in the home and stuff, that's something that Drew always need on Aaron about. But just both extremely talented athletes, and Aaron has just continued what Drew's able to do.
Aaron has kind of struggled, especially from the line this season. Is that something where you guys play him maybe a little bit more physical because you know that he hasn't done very well?
We don't have a lot of fouls to give, so we got into all of our foul trouble against USC was all of our bigs up front. So no, that's not something. We just want to continue to work and try to get better defensively, and I think we've had 3 really good weeks, and not just in gameplay, but as I said last week, having 6 practices. If you saw us on Monday and then you saw us on Friday, we were getting better. The guys are focusing more, they're picking up things better, so our defense has been improving, and that's something that now, as you get a team with this kind of talent, you got to make sure you continue to make strides here in the next 2 days defensively.
Do you think you had a chance at getting Aaron to come here after you got hired? You didn't have a lot of
No. That was already passed.
It seemed like you guys used a little bit more zone against SC. How have you seen the zone progress over the year?
I think when I say defensively, I think all the areas we're seeing growth. And when I think about defense, I think about deflections. I think about positioning, both man and zone. And I think about a board play. We look at our board play, both man and zone, and then how we transition. The transition from defense to offense, and then offense back to defense, because sometimes we're falling back zone, sometimes we're falling back man, and we're seeing progress in all that. Now, a lot of the same philosophies we have for man and zone, so we're not confusing our guys, but we're seeing growth, I think, in all those areas.
Against their size, do you just speed up the game, or how do you kind of make up for that, especially when you guys aren't necessarily the biggest team?
Well, we want to play fast. I think we do have good size. We start 6'10", 6'10", 6'9", 6'5", 6'4". So we've got good size. I think this is maybe the first team we've played that can even match and go beyond our size. McConnell's a little bit smaller, but really a tough point guard, hard-nosed point guard. So it's. I don't think size is a big issue, playing fast. Obviously, we would like to speed the game up as much as we possibly can, but still be patient enough to do the positive things that we want to do offensively.
Against some of the better teams on Arizona's schedule, they've showed they're beatable. I mean, number one team, obviously, they're fundamentally sound, a great basketball team. But what are some weaknesses that you found in film that possibly could be a strength that you guys have that could exploit their weakness?
Well, they haven't shown much because nobody's beaten them yet. So they may have been spurts where they've been behind in games, but nobody's proven they can beat them yet. So this is a very good basketball team. It's a team that not particularly deep. It's not a particularly deep team, but all those guys that they want to get on the floor are getting 20-plus minutes, somewhere between 20 and 32 minutes. But they're athletic. They can score off the bounce. They can score in the post. They shoot the ball pretty well, but they hang their hat at the defensive end. They make things very difficult. They've held a team to 25 already this year. I mean, those are things that just don't happen very often. So we've got to figure out ways of scoring, and then we've got to do a good job on the backboard.
Athletically, how is Caleb Tarszewski maybe different from some of the other big men you guys have faced?
Well, that's hard because for me, I've not played against him, and we've played against some good big guys already. Alabama had a big, USC had a big. So how he ranks into those last two, I'm not for sure. Just going off film, he's very talented. He can go right, left shoulder in the post, and those type of things. So very good rebounder. But comparing him to other people we've played, that's hard for me because while at New Mexico, I never played against him, and I haven't done it yet this year.
How have you seen the rebounding change, especially in the last few
Well,
weeks?
it's getting better. There's an urgency to it. There's an understanding of how we want to rebound out of the zone, of getting to the spots that we need to get to. Man-to-man's been better. We still got to work on transition rebounding because we still worry about too much of finding our man, and in transition it's not about finding your man. It's about where you're out on the floor, where the ball's on the floor, and even if it's a point guard picking up a center or a center picking up a shooting guard, it's getting matched up as quickly as you can. And if you don't get a switch within the half court, you've got to be able to block those type of guys out and rebound. But our effort and our intensity of going after that ball has been a lot better.
Do you feel like this might be a good time to have a challenge like this? You had a little bit of time off to work on things, and you just had a big win over USC. Is it kind of good timing for this game?
Oh, I don't know. You got to play. You got to play all these games that are on your schedule, and it's what I like. We hope we get. We've had two blemishes, in Missouri and Duke. We hope we get another chance at those. I think we're better. My thing is, are we getting better? And if we're doing this again next week. I'm going to be saying the same thing as we go into, a road trip. We've got to continue to get better. We're a young team. We've got a lot of inexperience, but these guys are doing a really good job of learning and getting better. And I give them all the credit over the break. They improved. And now I think the transition is now you're back in school. Now it's back to being a student athlete again. Now as we go through that transition, can we still stay focused? Can we concentrate and keep getting better as a basketball team? And if we can do that, then we got a chance to be one of the better teams.